What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Movie Resurrection Review. Today, we're going to be looking at The Barbarians. Alright, so we've got the movie The Barbarians, a 1987 sword and sorcery film. This was directed by Ruggero Deodato and screenplay by James R. Silk. This stars the Barbarian Brothers, who were David and
Peter.
Paul.
Yes.
Peter and David Paul. They're twin brothers. They were just bodybuilders. They were just big. So this is actually kind of a perfect role for them playing barbarians, right? Mm-hmm. Also starred Richard Lynch,
who is I think he was on Beastmaster. He was also on Highlander, the series. Got his head taken off, of course, because there can be only one. Also stars Eva.
Go ahead.
Eva LaRue.
Let's get into the finances on this film, shall we?
Finances. It took about $4 million to make. And it's estimated that it made $800,000 worldwide. So
tisk. Box office flop.
Yeah. And it's going to be a recurring thing about this movie, but
that it flops.
Yeah.
So what is this movie about? You found a little write-up on it.
Yes, I did. This movie is... Well, if I can find it. This movie is two twin barbarians seek revenge from their warlord who massacred their tribe and captured them when they were small children.
So, to expand on that a little bit, basically, they were kind of, I guess, a traveling band of gypsies, if you will, and they got attacked for some stone or some relic or something. It's a fantasy movie type thing. And they were captured and then separated and weren't around each other until they were adults. And then they were forced to fight and then realized they looked like each other. And then went on this mission to get revenge because they killed the sorceress or whatever, the head
leader of their
gypsy
tribe,
lady.
yeah,
the head gypsy tribe lady. They killed her. So, all right, let's get right into the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good.
There's like one or two jokes that were funny, you know?
One or two jokes that were funny, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm going to say this because of, it being a sci-fi fantasy type of movie, same with period pieces. I will give them credit for wardrobe. I'll give them credit for set. Even when they were in the swampy marsh thing, but all of that was handmade. That was made by,
no CG.
like some stagehands and all that stuff. No CG, practical effects when it came to, the fogs and the waters and the beasts and monsters and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to say that's in the good category.
Okay.
They did that really, really well. And that's probably where it stops.
You're not wrong.
Unless you have anything to add to that. I don't.
Actually, you did a lot more in depth than I gave them. Like I said, the jokes.
Yeah, the jokes.
A couple of jokes were okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bad,
and boy, is there a lot of it. The acting.
The acting is terrible.
Very terrible. The storyline.
I might even go into ugly category, but okay. The bad. The bad is the acting. Mm-hmm. Go on.
Storyline. With it being as basic of a storyline as you can get, it's still left wanting.
Still left wanting is actually a really good way to put it. There's not enough build up and lead up from the start of this adventure, to where they link back up together until they get to the end result. There's not a whole lot of filler in there. There's a lot of filler in there and not a whole lot of meat, if you will, with the story, with the travel, with, the things they encounter and stuff like that until you get to like that final showdown. Mm-hmm. And at that point, again, that was pretty decent. And then, the snake dragon thing with the, whatever. But again, practical effects. So I'll give them credit on that. So the story was lacking. The acting was very lacking, actually. Mm-hmm. There was no good acting in this, like, at all.
Yeah.
At all. The two Barbarian Brothers are the worst part about it. And I think they were only cast because they were huge. They were bodybuilders. They couldn't act. They really couldn't act. I thought these guys might have been wrestlers or something, but no, they were just bodybuilders who decided to get into acting.
Yeah.
And a lot of the movies that they did together, they did together.
Yeah.
As a
team.
Yeah, twin tandem, if you will.
And actually, whenever they introduce them in the beginning credits, it's not Peter and David Paul. It is the Barbarian Brothers.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Anything else about the bad? You know what? I'll go into the good category too. Again, talk about set pieces. We'll talk about weapons. The weapons and all that were good. I guess era appropriate with that. I'm not a weaponologist.
Like swords and arrows and axes.
I mean, yeah, they had all that back then. So, good job. All right. So, anything else in the bad category? There's not a whole lot to say about this movie.
There's not a whole lot to the movie.
There's not a whole lot to the movie. There's not. I wish we could give you guys more, but there's really not. The acting was bad. The casting was bad. Even though some of these people went on to do some pretty great things in their careers and definitely got better with the acting. This one wasn't it. It was terrible. The acting was terrible. Front to back, I think the acting was terrible. Actually,
I mean, it ain't no Kid Coulter, but it ain't that bad. But it's there. It's right there with it. Which sucks for me because I would watch this over and over and over and over again, and you don't really realize how much of a effing idiot you were, and easily entertained until you go back and watch a movie where you're like, oh, it's gonna be great, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's terrible, dude.
Yeah. So if we can get into the ugly category, and the things we were saying weren't bad enough to fall into the ugly category. But the ugly comes in with the dialogue, the script, the entire movie.
The dragon thing.
That was bad. It was a practical effect, but it was very poorly done. They encountered this snake dragon thing, and one of the guys winds up in its belly and burst out from the... He gets eaten, I think, right? And spoiler, he winds up in this snake dragon and winds up cutting his way out of it, through the stomach. That's kind of awesome if it was executed right, and it wasn't. It just looked very poorly done, very cheaply done.
But the dragon looked like a freaking uncircumcised dick. It did. Tell me I'm wrong.
Kind of looked like a penis. It did. Yes.
Fuck, man. I was like, okay, maybe. All right, cool.
I'm going to.
How many dragons have you seen though? You can't say for sure that wasn't a dragon.
No, you can't. You'd be like, is that an alligator tail? Is that a? I don't know. It looked like it should have been something out of a trauma film. Honestly, yep. It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say overall the movie was not good.
No.
I almost want to say go watch this so you can understand how bad it was.
That's fair.
I gotta be honest, even if you're into fantasy, sci-fi stuff like this, because it's not even necessarily the same category. Just call it fantasy. Legend would be fantasy, right? Not necessarily sci-fi.
Good movie.
No, I agree.
Right.
And this is why there needs to be standards. Yeah. As far as fantasy movies goes, Legend is up there.
Yeah.
That's an 8.5, 9.
Yes, it is. Yes. Okay.
So
you're right.
Said from last episode, there needs to be some standards here. As far as a fantasy movie goes, it lacks hard, and it lacks in so many different areas. The writing and the acting especially is just horrible. Very, very hard to watch. While, yes, the set pieces... I guess I'm going into my score right now. So before I do that, anything else you want to say?
No, yeah, I was going to say the transition from scene to scene. 1 second, they're right here. The next second, they're in the forest.
Yeah.
1 second, we're following the Barbarian Brothers. Next second, we're getting a fucking jewel put in someone's belly button. It's just... There was, like you said, there wasn't enough meat in that thing.
There really wasn't. There really wasn't.
Kind of all over the place.
It's like they took all these clips and said, well, fuck it, we got to put this together now. So,
we've already spent $4 million.
Yeah, we've already spent $4 million. We're not going to get another $4 million. We got to put this thing together.
Yeah.
Before we go into our scores on this, let's go to the tomato meter. So there were 0 reviews on this movie. So no score on the tomato meter. Well, hang on though.
It was great.
500 plus ratings on the audience score. Audience gave it 47%. So that averages down or equates down to a 4.7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be honest, they're not that far off.
Yeah, they are.
They're not that far off. I think it's a little high, personally, but they're not that far off.
It's a lot high.
So go ahead. What
if you want to Kid Coulter?
What did we get?
Because it has to be higher than that.
I think Kid Coulter came in at like a
2 or 1 or
3 average or something.
I can't do that. Really? if by the new standards that you just imposed upon me, Kid Coulter should be like a 0.8.
0.8
or
okay.
1.
Okay.
And by those standards, this movie right here should be like a 1.5.
1.5?
And that's generous. Generous 1.5.
Okay. I am going to go again because the acting is bad, the writing is bad, the editing is bad. I've got to give them credit where the credit is due, and the credit's with the costumes and the set design and things like that. I'm going to give them credit there, but everything else surrounding this movie is just horrible. It's horribly horrible. Again, I almost want you guys to go watch this movie, just so you can come back and be like, God damn it, you guys were right again. I'm going to be a little more generous than you, give it a 2.5. So we got an average score of 2.
I mean, I can go all the way up to 2.25.
It's still an average score of 2. It doesn't matter.
Because there's titties in it?
Was there? See, that's how bad this movie was. I don't remember that.
There was, but it was like, fuck me, dude.
So, there we go. Oh, God, the sound. What was that about?
I don't fucking know. I think they tried making that their stick.
Their stick. Yeah. Guys, go watch this movie, actually. Go watch this movie. Come back in the comments and be like, holy crap. What the fuck?
Maybe we're just assholes. Maybe we're the assholes in this equation. Maybe we're wrong.
This again, though, this was another movie like Kid Coulter where we used to watch a lot, and you watched this more than I did.
Yep.
But I would still watch this a lot. And you go back and you watch it again. It's like, ooh, what the hell were we thinking? Like you can watch an old movie and it still hold up. There's plenty of reviews like that we've done here. You know, and there's going to be plenty other movies that we review where it's like, okay, yeah, that's legit. That holds up. But yeah, this just isn't one of them. This definitely goes in the don't watch category or watch so you know how bad it is category. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we've rambled off long enough about it, and I don't think there's much more we can say. We can sit here and say it's bad 17 different ways. We're just saying the same thing at this point.
Regurgitating the same shit.
So, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, Z.
Thumbs down, Z.
Thumbs down, Z.
Appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have a suggestion for a movie you want us to review, put it in the comments. Please don't make it something super common like Top Gun or RoboCop or Gremlins or anything like that. We like to do what we think are more obscure titles. You know, we may lean into something that's maybe a little bit more, but, you know, we like to keep it a little bit obscure. So hopefully we hear from you guys.